Hello. Today I went to the park and I stood there and I looked at the trees and I felt a lot of calming come over me. And as I did that, I had a little drum with me that I was drumming. And I noticed when people would come up to look at the overlook, some people would stand there a moment and really take things in. I heard some deep breaths. I heard some laughter, some calming, some quiet. I drummed a little bit, and every now and then I would stop to respect the silence that someone may have come there for. I also noticed that there were plenty of people, and this is not just today, it's several different days of going to the same location and sitting and doing the same thing and just watching. And not watching with judgment, but just watching. And some people just walked up, took a picture, took a picture of themselves, took a picture of the trees and the overlook, and then turned around and walked away. Now, maybe they had other obligations. Maybe they only had a moment and they were passing through. What came up for me during that was how many of us do that in our regular lives? We walk up, we take a picture, and we leave. We do things so that we can post it on social media, like a quick picture like that. And that's fine, if that's all you have time for. But I would like to speak to the fact that we should try to make time for doing more. I would definitely say showing up is the biggest part. Showing up for any experience, because you always have that choice. You can stay home, you can just watch TV. These days we have Netflix, so you can always just watch Netflix and chill, as they say. And we've all done that. And I'm not knocking that. But what I am saying is sometimes we forget how to just be with nature, or we just don't take the time to do so. I speak to this because of how powerful it truly is to be with nature. See, I just had that deep breath, and it came from the memory of sitting there and breathing, getting all that fresh oxygen from the trees, seeing all those beautiful fall colors, and just watching everybody that passed by just be in that moment. For so much of my life, I was rushing around a lot. I was in my past, I was in my future. The past was hurting me, the future was scaring me. But was I here? Was I here now? Not always. There's a lot of power and a lot of healing that can happen when we are here now. Coming up not just to take that picture, taking a picture with your heart, being present, to breathe that air, to feel the vastness of our planet, of ourselves. We are a spiritual being having a human experience. Every one of us, even those who cause harm and hurt others, they too have that same light inside of them. Many people struggle with that. If you're doing harm to other people and you've literally hurt people, perhaps killed people, a lot of people who practice compassion have difficulty when it comes to being compassionate to those who cause this sort of harm. How can I feel bad for someone or forgive someone for being so, I don't want to say the wrong word here, but I'd like to just say hurt, because they are hurting. They are suffering. One of the first noble truths, there are 4 noble truths, the first one being we all suffer, but we can choose differently. This is the Buddha's teaching. There are many different Buddhas to learn from. Shakyamuni Buddha was a strong example, and his teachings are very powerful, very loving. It's loving kindness. And you don't have to be Buddhist to understand them, to learn about them. One thing that people think about Buddhism is, you're worshiping Buddha, you're worshiping a deity, but that's not the case. You recognize that same Buddha inside yourself. You bow to yourself and every other being in this universe, because we are all so interconnected. So we suffer unless we can change our mind, unless we can allow ourselves to be present in the moment, to release our suffering. That doesn't mean life will always be rainbows. It won't. But how we look at that, how we cope with that, how we deal with that, how we interpret it, our perception of this, that can be altered. And we hold the key for this process. It sounds simple to say. It's definitely more work to do. But I would say I'm living proof that it's possible. If you had asked me a decade ago if I'd ever be making a video speaking this way, feeling this serenity in my heart, loving all beings, learning, growing in this manner, I would have laughed in your face. I didn't always have the capacity for this kind of love. One big thing is loving yourself before you can truly love another. It's easy to look outside yourself. It's even easier to take in what others think and believe about you. Everyone that knows you sees you the way they see you. So there are maybe, 10, 20, 30, 100, hundreds, thousands, depending on how many people know you, how many people you've encountered. They all have an imprint of a perception of who you are. And who you are goes much deeper than that. If you're married, you know that person, they know your expressions. They try to interpret how you're feeling. But the truth is, only you can truly communicate how you're feeling and what that means to you. And can you truly say everything with words? Is it even possible? It's a good question. The internal experience of connecting with your true nature, your Christ consciousness, the I am presence, the Buddha nature, the way. There may not be the greatest words to explain such a thing. It's something that needs to be lived and experienced by yourself, and only by yourself. Of course, you may do this with groups. There are plenty of groups and people who've helped me grow throughout the years. And I am so grateful for each and every one of those people. Now it's easier to recognize that every encounter you have helps you grow. I used to point the finger, blame others for my pain, my suffering. You hurt me. You did this. You did that. But I noticed every time I pointed that finger, 3 pointed back at me. So I started taking responsibility for my actions. What did I do? How did I play a part in this? And I didn't always want to do that, because that's not so fun. But it's the truth. And that's okay. I started recognizing a lot of my suffering was self-inflicted, even when I didn't know it was. I had no idea. You know, another thing that comes up from Buddhism is the 3 poisons: ignorance, anger, greed, or craving. The 3 poisons. I walked through life ignorant because I had no idea the harm my words, actions, what they did to myself and others, what they could inflict. My anger, that feeling of adrenaline when anger rises, how that feels in your body. Imagine what it does inside your body, to your organs, to your blood vessels, to your nervous system, to your lymphatic system, to your neurotransmitters in your brain. All those messages, all that anger firing up in your body. There's a reason that people with good, positive, grateful mindsets end up surviving or being healthier. It's really strong stuff when you can shift into that place. And shifting really takes place when you have those aha moments. And it could be the smallest thing. I recall having one. I went into the garage, had my own place at that time. I'd been practicing meditation for a few years. And I went outside and I put something in the recycle bin, and then I went to carry it to the curb. In that moment, I found such joy just carrying my recycle bin to the curb, because I could carry the recycle bin to the curb. And I had experienced a time where I wasn't able to do that. So I was very grateful. And in the next breath, I felt such love, such strong love, the type of love that I always looked for in everyone else. I was seeking that love outside of myself, thinking I could find it elsewhere. But I couldn't. And I felt it. It was this feeling of I had remembered what I didn't know I had forgotten. And it was so peaceful, so calm, so tranquil, so pleasant, so blissful. And I thought about how I may have viewed that in the past. I may have been annoyed. Oh, I have to take out the recycle bin. Maybe it was raining. Maybe my arm hurt and I didn't want to carry it. Who knows? Anything. Sometimes the smallest little thing can just set us off. And then it just turns into a larger snowball as it just continues and continues and spirals out. But it was such an internal feeling. My wish is that more people can experience this for themselves. I see a lot of people all over the world trying to spread their message, spread their religion, spread their peace. Religion is beautiful. There's nothing wrong with it. If someone is sick and they aren't feeling well, they may look for a doctor, which is perfectly fine. It makes sense. They'd like to feel better. They go to a specialist. Well, when someone feels out of balance in life or hopeless or they're just seeking something, they may find a certain religion. People use religion as medicine at times. Helps us get better. But it's not something to hold against another. I am this religion and you're that religion, so you don't believe what I believe, and it's a problem. We've lived that way for a long time. It's caused wars. It's caused hate. When the truth is, it all leads to the same place. We'll all go home eventually. And how long that takes is up to us. We learn our lessons here in this schoolroom, this physical plane. We learn, we cultivate, we practice, we grow. And it's a beautiful process. Growing older is a miracle, and many people do not have this opportunity. Time is precious, and impermanence is swift. Stay true to yourself. Honor your truth. A big thing I work on with my daughter and myself, not getting caught up in other people's judgments or what they think your truth is, but learning what that means to you. Who are you? A great practice in meditation is Awato. When you ask yourself, who am I? And you continue to ask yourself, who am I? See what comes up. Who are you? I could answer that question, but I'll leave it at that for now. I appreciate you taking the time to listen to me. I thought about writing things out, but I just wanted to speak from my heart. What if more people would do that, and more people were willing to listen? You know what I hear a lot right now is when people speak politics, they stop themselves, or they say, I don't want to get political, because there's so much disagreement. But wouldn't it be wonderful if we heard each other out without feeling anger? Maybe listening fully through all the points. And even if we don't agree, find that happy medium. Because the bottom line, we're all here on this planet, living life, breathing air, sharing space with one another. I walked through the store earlier today. I picked up some food. And as I was leaving, I looked up at all the people standing in line, standing at the registers. There were so many different faces, different cultures, different languages, different people. And I had this thought that they're all just living, doing their best. They all want to be happy. Nobody wants to suffer. We all want to be happy. When we start realizing that our true happiness comes when everybody is happy, our community, our city, our state, our nation, our world, this is where happiness lies. For me, it's this, right now, making this video. I never really wanted to make videos. And I think I put a few up and like this where I'm talking, and I think maybe one person has watched them. But they'll be there, and they're not going anywhere. So if someone takes the time to watch it, great. If not, that's okay too, because I spoke my truth and I put it out there. And I've come across so many people in different groups that are afraid to do that. Why are they afraid? Because of judgment of others, because of others' harmful words, thoughts, feelings, expressions. It can be difficult when you feel like you're putting your heart out there and someone slams you. But these are also the greatest teaching moments. Your reaction to this. It tells a lot about who you are. Kind of like if you played Monopoly with someone, or any kind of game. You see a lot about who the other person is. And that's okay. One of the best things is letting someone be who they are. And being calm enough and peaceful enough inside to not grow upset about it. I saw a lot of us hoarding toilet paper in recent times during this COVID time. And there were people who weren't trying to hoard it and just went for their regular refill and couldn't fill up on toilet paper because others had taken it all. When we start recognizing that we are others, we start seeing things differently. We start seeing reality. We strip away illusions. We understand. We cultivate wisdom. That doesn't mean you'll always be perfect, but it means you're learning. This planet and the people on it, they need to start doing these things. The consciousness of this planet is expanding. We are expanding. And when we take the time to listen to one another and to practice love together, to connect to the earth, to ground ourselves, to connect to our ancestors and all sentient beings, or all beings, or if you don't view things that way, just all of humanity. We are all one in the I Am presence. We are all one in the Christ consciousness. We are all one in our Buddha nature. Something to reflect on. Thank you for listening. May you be well. May all beings be well. Much love. Bye-bye.